It's official.
It is official. The Minnesota Twins are division champs. It has been a long and winding season. And the Cleveland Indians just, they were the bases low. Where inside, the team wanted to watch the game by themselves. That is, the Indians-White Sox finish before they celebrate and have some time to themselves. I believe you can hear them celebrating inside, but they wanted some time just to themselves to celebrate this and to be able to give the appropriate toasts and everything else. So we've got a crew there, but until they open the doors, there's a Pika, probably Dustin Morse, their very capable public relations director, as to when they actually let us in. When they do, you're going to see quite a celebration. And it looks like, if you just follow, this is all live, folks. We're about to walk into the Twins clubhouse. Tom Ryther, photojournalist, will take us there. And we don't know what we're going to see, but we assume there's going to be a lot of things sprayed in the air. And the Minnesota Twins have got to have one great party going on, because this is just, the game just ended about a minute ago. The Cleveland Indians.
Some season, of course, they deserve what they're celebrating right now, winning this division.
AL Central champions for the first time in 9 years. It's been a long wait, no doubt, for Twins fans. We were looking back, we're like, how long has it been? 9 years since we've seen this moment. And look at all that plastic.
And there's Rocco Baldelli, and he came through. This is his birthday, his 38th birthday, so what a day for him. But he's got the goggles ready if this thing gets out of hand, so I like the way that he thinks there. And you can see all these players. You know, you got a 40-man roster, and many of them were called up in September, so some of the faces you don't recognize always in there because they were just on the roster for the last couple of weeks. There's family members in there and everything else. And these are rare moments that you get to enjoy. The last time they did it, they had to sit and wait as well and watch the White Sox win. So they clinched 2 years ago to get a playoff spot against the New York Yankees. But a lot of the wives and the girlfriends made this trip because they anticipated just this celebration. I wish I could tell you who more of these players were, but now they all got their goggles and they don't have their jerseys on. But all we know is the Minnesota Twins are division champions, and normally that's quite a sight.
It is quite a sight. You see all these guys enjoying it. They're spraying champagne, I assume, everywhere, all over that locker room. And they deserve it, because this is a team that, ups and downs, they've started to prove time and time again. Home runs, no home runs, they're going to do what it takes to win. All they need to do is put themselves in position to let things fall as they may. And of course, they fell in their favor with the White Sox being a lot of fun.
Here come the selfies too, man. When you get an opportunity like that, Ian Miller just called up. Jason Castro, I just saw over there. Trevor Hildenberger, who's been up and down this season. A lot of the equipment staff is part of this. They've all got the same T-shirts on. They're proclaiming them, of course, division champions. They'll play one more meaningless game tomorrow against Detroit, and then 3 meaningless games against Kansas City this weekend. But when you get a chance to do this, you just stand back and enjoy it, and then they're going to spray the cameras and the photographers and everybody else. And that scene you see right there will be repeated from now until the next couple of hours.
Yeah, that's the
3 a.m. Detroit time.
Iconic right there. Those guys are having so much fun.
I think in addition to this, we say storybook season, but they've certainly overcome a lot as well this season, especially just as of late, with some pitching questions.
Yeah.
So that makes this moment, I guess, even more remarkable. This Twins team seems to, get it done, facing that adversity.
Even with all those injuries they've had, too.
Yeah, they had a lot of injuries, and Cleveland really had even more injuries. That they even to stay in it is remarkable. But Michael Pineda being shelved for the season. Their pitching staff, a little bit of turmoil in the starting staff. The relief corps has gotten much better. Byron Buxton lost for the year. And now they look like they'll be relatively healthy and probably play the New York Yankees, Houston Astros. It leans towards New York right now. That would be on the road a week from probably tomorrow night, Friday night, something like that. But I remember when they clinched in Chicago one year, and the next day the manager and the coaches came in and they said, City of Chicago won, Twins nothing after last night, and that's what happens on these nights.
It's funny, tonight we were trying to go in and, find some Twins fans, but everybody said, it's kind of a school night. They think it'll, be a little quiet, but we saw, once that Twins game wrapped up, everybody hung around to see the outcome of this game tonight.
And how fitting for them. It was Ron Gardner managing the Tigers, and he was saying earlier today that he didn't want this to happen. He didn't want it to happen in Detroit. But I'm sure in some small way, deep down, he's like, you're worth it.
He had nothing but good things to say about the team tonight.
Yeah, and his son is the manager for the Minnesota Twins minor league team, and his son managed Randy Dobnak and helped get him to tonight, and he was the starting pitcher tonight. Toby Gardner works down there in Fort Myers, and so he managed him. There's Jonathan Scope, great addition this year, obviously, to this team. Yeah, there's a whole lot of partying still to be done.
And Randy, in fact, getting married on Saturday.
Randy's getting married, so he's leaving tomorrow, or tonight, or whenever it is, right? Essentially, it'll be a pretty good wedding now.
I would say so.
And all his gifts have been taken care of by the Minnesota Twins fans on the registry. So he'll be back next week for the playoffs. Harry Adrianza there, he's been injured. Yeah, this is going to go on for some time, and tomorrow morning we'll have all kinds of great stuff in the clubhouse.
That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah, good to see. First time in 9 years, as we said, AL Central champions. And Chris, weather looking just fine for tomorrow, right? As folks
it's
roll
raining
up with the wind.
more there than it was at my house last night. I love it. Yeah, everything looks great tomorrow. Still not humid, mix of sun and clouds, high in the upper 60s.
And stay with WCCO for continuing coverage of the Twins playoff run. Great. Good job.
I wish you could tell who the guys were.
So we are talking with Tom Ryther, the only Minneapolis photojournalist who was at the celebration of the Twins last night as they became the division champs. Tom, I think the big question everybody has for you this morning is, do you still smell like booze?
Well, my camera sure does. I was talking with our chief photographer, Sean Skinner. I said, well, I don't drink, but I was like, if I get pulled over, I got a lot of explaining to do because I reeked the booze, but I had below 0.00. So.
Right. So what was it like in there last night?
It was awesome. These are the moments that you kind of live for as a journalist, to be able to get moments like this to celebrate on the field, in the locker room, or whatever. The thing that made it really unique is I've been around this group now for an entire season, and it's a very even keel, very low-key group. They don't get too high, they don't get too low. So to see them go crazy like this was really out of character and really special.
And you've been around in this market for a long time. It's been quite a while since the Twins have been able to do this.
It really has. I think they've had 13 straight playoff losses, but they've been to the playoffs a lot.
Right.
Joe Mauer never won a playoff game, but we've done plenty of division titles or wild card celebrations or whatever. The real special ones are back when Gardy was still the manager.
Yeah.
They won 5. They went to the playoff 5 times, so we got to do this quite a bit. But we haven't seen it, especially a division title, for I think 10 years now. So this is really special. This is a whole new generation that gets to see this.
Right, because there's a lot of kids out there, a lot of Twins fans that have never seen the Twins even go to the playoffs before, much less win a World Series. You talk about these guys finally just being able to kind of let loose. Were there any things that you saw that really kind of stuck with you?
Yeah, that's a good point. They really, really let loose. This whole team's personality is kind of based pretty much around a couple of guys, Marwin Gonzalez and Nelson Cruz. These guys are older veterans. They've seen a lot of. Gonzalez has won World Series titles. They're very low-key guys. They don't get too high. They don't get too low. Both these guys were partying like crazy last night, and I think the kids kind of saw it and says, hey, I guess it's okay to let loose now, and they had a lot of fun.
They did. Any cool outtakes that we weren't able to see on camera?
I know, it was a pretty small room. The Detroit Visitors Clubhouse is very small, and you could hear. I was down the hall when the White Sox hit a home run to take an 8-3 lead over the Indians, and it was pretty much a sealed deal. You can hear that locker room erupt, but that locker room is way too small for a celebration, so they moved it down the hall to like a little banquet room, and they made it really small, hanging up plastic. So I had people bumping into me left and right, and it was really kind of tough to see what was going on. But one really nice thing was Mr. Pohlad there, the owner. He has seen a lot of these, and he says these never get old. This is why he continues to own the Twins for moments like this.
Yeah, and he was there last night?
Oh, he was there. He doesn't miss these anytime at the clinch. The front office staff and everybody was there. They don't miss these. These don't come around that often.
I can only imagine it was really hard to sort of navigate through there, at least from your camera lens. I mean, it was wet on that camera lens. What was it like to try and navigate through champagne spraying, beer on your head, not slipping on the ground?
Well, it's pretty interesting. You've got, basically you're wearing scuba gear, so the only thing that's getting wet is your camera lens, and guys see you and they seek you out and will start spraying the lens pretty good.
Right.
The champagne burns your eyes. That's why they wear goggles. But it's not tear gas or mustard gas. It just burns your eyes pretty bad. But it goes away, so I shouldn't complain because it's all in good fun.
Right, exactly. How late did they go?
Well, I finally got out of there at about midnight, and it was kind of starting to wind down a little bit. But yeah, keep in mind they had a game in 12 hours, so I mean, I don't think they're going to be partying too long because the next step is to try to win 100 games. They've got 2 games to get to 100 wins. Only one team in this franchise history since 1901 has won 100 games, and that's the 1965 Twins. And I asked Rocco Baldelli about that. He says that is a huge goal to get to 100 wins because it's really never happened, only once since 1901.
Yeah. So they're really playing for something, even though they've already made it into the playoffs.
Exactly. They don't want to let up. I mean, they've got a couple of monster teams staring at them in the face in the playoffs, and the Yankees and the Astros. The chances of them winning are not that great, but you never know because now you're in the playoffs and now there's a possibility.
All right, Tom Ryther, the Twin Cities journalist in the Twins celebration. Thanks so much. We're so grateful that you were able to be there and bring this all to us. Safe travels back home.
Thank you very much. This was a wonderful trip, a great idea. Thank you very much. Have fun.